Welcome to the Early On. We offer programs and services for children 0 to 6 years old and their parents and caregivers in Brantford and Brant County. I'm Ellie, and this is my bear. Today, we're going to build a house for my bear while we learn about math. I'll show you the supplies you might want to use, and then you can pause the video to go collect materials from around your home. Look for things in your recycling bin, like boxes of different shapes and sizes, paper, tape or glue, scissors, and something for coloring, like markers or crayons. See you in a few minutes. Welcome back. I'm glad you found some things to build with. Now let's make room. You can build at the same time as me, or watch for ideas, then build. I'm going to start with 5 boxes. 1, 2, 3, 4, and a big box. 5. I'm going to start with the biggest box on the bottom. And then I'm going to stack this box right in the middle on top. And I'm going to stack an even smaller box on top of that. I'm going to tape these together so they stay stacked while I build. While I'm taping, I'm thinking, what else can I add to this house to make my bear happy? Sometimes my bear gets cold, so I could add a fireplace and a chimney. For the chimney, I'm going to take a piece of construction paper and roll it. Oops, I dropped my tape. Roll the paper into a tube. Then I'll get my tape back and tape the paper. Where will I put the chimney? I think I will put it behind the large box at the back of the house. I need more tape to help it stick. That piece was not long enough. Oh, my chimney went sideways. Now the chimney is ready. What else will I add? I have this box. Should I put this box on top of the smaller box? Now the smaller box is hiding beneath the bigger box. What if I put this blue box beneath the even bigger box? The bigger box fell over when I stacked it on the smaller box. But the smaller boxes did not fall over when I stacked them on the bigger box. Let's do some experimenting to see if the size matters when we're stacking and balancing boxes. You try with your boxes, and I'll try with mine. Oops. Oops. Oh no, again. How's the experimenting going over there? At last, I found a way to stack the bigger box on top of the smaller box and to have the house balanced. I'm going to tape it in place. How many boxes are in your bear's house now? Let's count how many boxes are in the house for my bear. 1, 2, 3, 4 boxes, and 1 tube. I still have 1 more box. I think I'd like to make another room and put a hallway in between the bigger box and the smaller box. So I'm going to get another piece of paper, roll it like a tube, tape it together, and tape it in between the boxes. Put the tape inside and then stick the edge onto the box. Same on the other side. Tape goes in, fold the tape, and stick the sticky part to the box. Now Bear can crawl beneath the tube or through the hallway. Wait a minute. Do you think Bear would fit inside this hallway? Let's check. Bear's paw doesn't even fit inside the tube. I think I need to make a hallway that is a bigger size. I'm getting another piece of paper, and this time I'm going to measure. I'll lie Bear down and wrap the paper around to see how big it needs to be. It looks like I need 2 pieces of paper. So I will take Bear out and tape the 2 pieces together. How's your house coming over there? Do you have any tubes? How many? Now let's check if Bear can fit through. Yes. So I will tape this hallway between the bigger box and the smaller box. Same as last time. Part of the tape inside the paper, then fold and stick the paper to the box. Part of the tape inside the paper at the other side, then fold and stick the paper to the box. I finished building this bear's house. When you're finished building your house for your bear, you can decorate it. I'm going to wrap paper around the box and then color. I will line up the side of the paper with the side of the box and fold my paper around the corners where all the sides of the box meet. Sides matching with sides. Tape the paper to the box. Then fold the paper around the side. Make a crease and tape the paper to the box again. And fold the paper twice around the corners of the box. The corners can get tricky, so you might ask a grown-up to help at this part in particular. Then I'll get my marker and I'm going to draw on some windows. As you keep building and decorating, keep using math words as a family. Math words like build, stack, tube, box, count, sides, corners, size, bigger, and smaller. This activity of building a house for a bear or stuffed animal involved lots of math. We explored geometric concepts like balance, and we had a chance to manipulate geometric shapes like cylinders, cubes, and rectangular prisms. We also built a lot of vocabulary for math communication. Try to use these words as part of your everyday communication and when you're playing with your bear and their house. Thanks for joining our early on activity today.